Hey there, hi there, ho there! My last video was something of a catch-up, both for me and for the small handful of sadist subscribers soaking themselves in schadenfreude while I collect my favorite virtual cards. In that video, I mentioned how whenever a new multiplayer program or XP path came out, I would often join up with the adept plate artists in my circle of friends for co-op, where I would gleefully strap myself to their backs and rack up stats from their bats. Bars! Recently during a co-op game, my good friend Spencer mentioned that he enjoys participating in the Weekend Classic, a sweaty 1v1 ranked mode where you climb the leaderboard for better and better rewards. Now personally, I don't play anything except co-op and the occasional battle royal when it comes to online ranked modes. In fact, I've never even played a full 9-inning 1v1 ranked game since I picked up the show in 2021. However, as that co-op game went on and I snuck a few singles through in between inning-long stints of yips that no tips or tricks could fix, I started to grow a chub of curiosity at the very least. Just how bad am I compared to the average online player? I mean, if we're being honest, was my last video a little hyperbolic? Sure. I do believe I'm woefully behind the 8-ball compared to my Xbox peers with at least 5 years experience, but if I think about it logically, reasonably, and judiciously, I'm probably not the worst. Yeah, you know what? Let's give it a try. For the first time since I took my very first at-bat in MLB The Show, I'm gonna participate in the Weekend Classic. I'm starting in the bottom bronze league, of course, so what's the worst that could... Oh, surely I won't let one ass whooping bring me down, but before we get to the full scope of the game, some housekeeping. Since my last video was being recorded, I decided to finally leave my stubbornness in the dugout and switch a couple of camera settings I've been pushed toward over the last couple years. The first is my pitching camera. I've always played on the default broadcast behind the pitcher style camera, and I know the cream of the crop play on their same batting camera. Never understood it, never cared. I'm me, I'm my own wide hip demon, goddammit. I don't need to just copy what the pros are doing. Or maybe, being stubborn in my case wasn't some noble thing, rather just a stupid one that was holding back my eyes from being trained on the baseball. So I said, f it, we ball, and changed over to set my pitching camera to match my batting camera, that being strike zone high. I saw an immediate difference in how my eyes were tracking the pitches. Turns out when you don't jump back and forth between two markedly different camera angles between offense and defense, you don't need as long to adjust. Who knew? The other camera setting was simple. I'm playing on broadcast view when the ball is put into play instead of dynamic or high, because I simply like the way it looks, and the slight delay after swinging the bat feels better to me. I won't pretend to fabricate any tactical advantage on this one. I'm an idiot. I just like it. Now then, let's meet the lineup for my first attempt at the Weekend Classic. Out in left, the lone live series representation in my lineup, the Havana Hammer, El Grande Air Jordan. Jordan Alvarez, bringing the all-around contact and power as my main leadoff man. He didn't play the first two games because I am an idiot and had Miguel Cabrera out in left field, but don't worry, I quickly realized that wasn't the move. In center, one of my absolute favorite cards from the Cityscape series with the diamond mod to that speed to make him even more of a cheese demon, Curtis Granderson. In right, solid bats but elite fielding for those lefty pull hitters, World Baseball Classic Fernando Tatis Jr. First base sees the spotlight Ben Rice that dropped recently, showcasing yet another slugging demon that the Yankees' surplus of talent benefits from. Elite power and contact if I can manage to get that PCI on it with his poor vision. Second base has the crown jewel of the Jackie Robinson set, number 42 himself, elite all-around, best bunter in the game with some great speed to boot. Another Cityscape's favorite at shortstop, I went with Jimmy freaking Rollins over the spotlight Ellie De La Cruz. My fellow Redlegs fans, please don't crucify me. Jimmy has much better speed than that Ellie card and can pretty much do it all on both sides. Third base, World Baseball Classic MVP and boss Michael Garcia, who deserves a spot on the hot corner if for no other reason than I disrespected him and mispronounced his name in my last video.
94 Diamond Michael Garcia.
Designated hitter has to be the Red Diamond Award Series Miguel Cabrera. Fun fact, I thought Miguel's nickname was Melky for many years before learning that yes, Miguel and Melky are actually two different human beings. This Cabrera, though, can't field for shit, so he's locked in at DH. At catcher, certifiably the best pop gunner in the game to throw out those wannabe second base thieves, Boston Red Sox legend Rick Farrell. In the pen, we're a little weaker in my opinion, but there's still some stuff. I'm starting Mexico City Series Michael King, The Miz, Jacob Mizorowski from Cityscapes, my second inning boss Randy Johnson and his 13-inch big unit. Don't pause that shit, just play, daddy. Live series Paul Skeens and my young goat himself, supercharged Chase Burns. The pen, which in hindsight I'm aware doesn't have enough varied lefty, consists of the time-space switcher Eric Gagne from the Jolt series, Jolt Oriole Darren O'Day for those off-putting sidearm throws. Yes, I'm aware Duck Rogers has an egg basket card, but I don't like his face, so he can crack off somewhere else. Coming in lefty, the same guy 3 times in 3 different flavors. Live series Aroldis Chapman, who's been mocking me relentlessly for not getting his Cityscapes card yet. Garrett Cleavinger and Ryan Weathers. Closing strong with Cityscapes Monopoly man Raleigh Fingers. Canley, throw that ass in a circle Jansen. And the very best pitcher in the bigs right now, closer or otherwise, I said what I said, the Grim Reaper Mason Miller, whose walkout song in real life is Corn. Bro, how can you not stand for this king? Enough foreplay. Let's play ball. Game 1, which I gave a bit of a teaser to already, did not go well. Mr. Weiss guy here popped my weekend classic cherry and popped some dingers as well. The Miz did his thing well enough through the first, but I got myself caught slipping on a high slider for Ryan Howard to send back to Philly in a hand-wrap bomber bag to make it 1-0. The opposing pitcher, John Donaldson, had my ass in a headlock early on, retiring my side in order 3 straight frames until Jackie Robinson was able to sneak this slider through for my first ever ranked hit. You never forget your first, and I think it's fitting number 42 put me in the box score. Even more fitting that this brain-dead double steal attempt is gunned down to end the sentimental shittery. The Miz did everything he could to buoy the cretin behind the controller, but yet another breaking ball dropped into the zone has Miguel Cabrera sadly staring at his bullpen to deliver the sad news. Another hitless inning for me in the 5th, and I decided to spare Miz from any more skipper-induced humiliation by bringing in Gagne. Not only Gagne, but I also brought in Spencer himself to watch me shit my pants. And shit I did. After sending Mike Trout to first on balls, Tony Santander called my mother on the phone and asked her to dinner before sending a 100-mile-an-hour fastball 450 feet outside to a chorus of boos. I would boo too. Okay, so Gagne didn't work. Maybe Canley can throw some ass and get some strike. Now, there wasn't too much else to see here, just batting practice for my opponent while I asked Spencer whether there was a mercy rule in Weekend Classic. He confirmed there was, so I accepted a moral victory in my first ever game, losing 9-0, but avoiding the mercy rule. Not great, but I didn't plan on giving this a try, just to collapse at the first beatdown. Game 2. We ran the pitch count up against the lanky Noah Schultz early on. Something about this guy. I don't like how he moves, how he stands, just how he looks in the game. Blech. We even knocked a few hits up to get some confidence early before stranding guys on second and third. They wouldn't have much success either, outside of this scary-looking shot deep left to Cabrera in left. I already said that. With 2 outs in the second, I was pretty pleased at my plate discipline, driving Schultz up to damn near 40 pitches by the time this tough throw aired out, though nothing came of it. The second inning wasn't my spark plug, but it sure as hell was his. The wheels started to fall off for Chase Burns here, with Sammy Sosa and Shohei tag teaming for an elbow drop double that broke the tie. Sally would add a 3-run shot later in the inning to break my heart even more. Another close call with Cabrera in left was about the time I decided he needed to be DH'd for sure. It was clear I wasn't going to come anywhere near that sweet rewind pack on this attempt with 5 straight wins, but I at least wanted to put up a fight. That fight came a little bit in the 4th. This guy was in love with the inside fastball, and I just decided to sit on that and let him throw it anywhere else. That put Tatis on, just in time to boil some rice! A 2-run shot that actually had me a bit disappointed that I already finished the multiplayer program and couldn't feast on those juicy bases. Score at 2-4. Burns was steady after the last home run, so all I need to do now is keep it close and get my bats together. I was doing well to knock 2 outs quickly in the 5th, but Sammy Sosa reminded us why and what he was injecting. Another 2-run home run hurt, but we're not here to win, damn it. We're here to fight. Jimmy freaking Rollins would do just that on this nasty chase slider that snuck past the center fielder for 2. Rick Farrell showed he's more than just a security guard with this very fortunate blooper just over the left field wall for 2 more. After giving up 1 more run in just the last 3 innings, we had many really good opportunities to catch back up, but Joan Duran and John Franco weren't having any of it, keeping me off the base path the rest of the way. 4-7. Hey, not a mercy rule, and it's not 0-9. That smells like an upward tick in momentum for me. Or perhaps it's just the smell of a batter that's absolute dog. Game 3. We begin to hit our groove, kicking things off hot with a perfect Can't be too mad at 3 solid hits that ended in outs. The big unit, though, took the mound this time and delivered only the way he can. I'd like a pitcher with a little more control, but he has a huge repertoire, so I'm fine with it, honestly. I see Parker Messick's Tops Now card a lot for how little I play online, and I don't know why. I'm not sure he's that great. That said, we do duel for the next 2 innings until the top of the 3rd, where he puts Ben Rice on balls, setting up perfectly for the second leadoff hitter in the 9 spot, my guy Granderson, sending both home on another 2-run deep shot. Shortly after, Aaron Jordan is plunked either out of retaliation or because Parker can't get the Whataburger grease off of his hand. Either way, there's a theme when you put someone on first base this way. That's home run number 1 for Miguel since I unlocked him with the vouchers, and it's clear he's much more comfortable at DH, which is where he will stay. The positive uptick continues with a Jimmy Rollins double and this pretty solid attempt from Magic Mike that could have gone had I adjusted slightly north. Randy sits 3 down in order, even doing some of his own homework for an out. Some danger in the 4th inning as a drive pops right over the infield. This is the kind of territory I do not do well in, but a mind-boggling steal attempt is thwarted at first, and Randy cleans up before my opponent decides he's seen enough and gives me the win. Our first ever win. Looking to make a run of it. Let's go right to Game 4. Up next, bullpen game in the Weekend Classic is certainly a choice. I'd like to think the universe keeps sending this Cityscapes Araldus to taunt me. They even made him a starter this time. The pen game is off to a shaky start as the Havana Hammer absolutely dumps one deep left off a high sinker I just caught up with. A Jimmy Rollins single in the right gap threatens, but I don't trust Jordan to make the trot and pull him up. A good choice, but unfortunately that leaves them stranded on the corners. When Mexico Series Michael King hit the show, he was a big overachiever for my guys in co-op, so I have high hopes for his first start in the Weekend Classic. My high hopes get away from me just like this 4-seamer does. And one lucky fan is going home with a game ball. A solo homer, not a huge deal, especially when the bats catch absolute heat in the 2nd inning, causing the pin game to spiral early for the Ops. For whatever reason, they move to knuckleballer John Klein immediately in the 2nd inning, which is awkward at first, but given how juicy these are, we get a hold of several of them. Rick Farrell starts it off and makes room for Fernando Tatis to tag one and steal one in quick succession. As quick as Klein enters, he sits as Ben Rice sacks one in to tie it. Look who it is. It's our old friend, Parker Messick. He has more luck against me because he's not throwing a 70-mile-an-hour shitball and retires the side in short order. Some BBs in the 4th lead to me getting slick with a Mad Mike Garcia steal, and he gets tagged. A combination of Brandon Valenzuela's double and a somehow live series Javier Baez dink puts me in some trouble in the 4th inning, but once again we escape with a pop-out and a full count. Ben Rice continues to prove me right for putting him at first base, tagging a ball into center field for a single, but he's thrown out shortly after on a fielder's choice after the homie Curtis Granderson slaps one into play. No matter, I'm taking second base whether you like it or not. Curtis Granderson does what he wants with the Diamond mod. He advances to 3rd on a grounder, and it leads to this wild ripper to 3rd base that potentially severs an Ethernet cable somewhere. The power of the Red Diamond. The throw is not in time, and Cabrera sends one home to give me the lead. The flurry even continues after, to my surprise, but my dreams of a grand salami with the rye bread are torn to pieces when I leave all 3 stranded with the bases loaded. That lead sticks for another inning before Chris Bryant shocks one 400 feet on another 4-seamer that got away. I'm starting to think these fastballs are not going to cut it online. Thankfully, we answer right back afterwards with an Air Jordan Solo Dolo Bombo that somehow sneaks over the wall and taunts the banana raincoat wearing outfielder by warping back through the wall right afterwards. This game was excellent. Shout out to the man on the other side for a great back and forth 9 innings. We both leave runners stranded on the next couple innings, with Jordan continuing to hard carry with an RBI single to give me breathing room heading into the ninth. Bottom of the ninth, you know what that means. The bad man himself, Mason Miller, straps his Mega Man cannon on and takes the walk to the mound to strike out back-to-back hitters on some absolute filth on the changeup, with a foul fly finishing the job for the back-to-back dub. Look at me! 2 wins in a row, and we're climbing that leaderboard through sheer force of will. Here I expected to not even get more than a couple of hits, and I'm at 500 through 4 games. I'm going to keep this going. I'm ready. I'm ready to plant my flag on the mound and plant my foot in the ass of whoever shows up next. Yoshinobu Yamamoto's World Baseball Classic card isn't great, so I've got high hopes for Game 5. Let's answer them with 5 straight hits. That brings 4 runs home in total in the early first. I've got this now. 1 through 6 get on before a double play, but Ben Rice does what Ben Rice does best and finds first base through balls. I hold a special place in my heart for those who yearn for the balls. Ben Rice to first and Granderson up. Usually a great formula, and my opponent knows it as he brings in a new starter to put the Yamamoto experiment to bed. Justin Verlander's ancient ass catches me checking one too many times and finally, mercifully, puts an end to my fire inning. 4-0 in the first. This is special. Now we need to answer on defense. Paul Skeens is the man here, one of the very best young talents in baseball and the one I'm leaning on to sit down some batters. A deep shot on the very first pitch goes over Tatis's head on a play I probably could have made if I didn't manually jump like an idiot. I theorize this because the very next pitch he crushes again on another ball he chased outside, and Granderson does pull it in when I don't jump. That does send the triple hitter home. I'm already nervous and I've only thrown 3 pitches. Surely my 4-run outburst won't be in vain, right? 2 straight solo shots and a guy who refuses to swing at anything that isn't either a home run or a potential one. As I quietly Google how to cheat in MLB The Show 26 on the side, I escape still holding a 4-3 lead. Next time he's at bat, he makes it clear that Google isn't needed, as he shows me directly whose house this is. Santander goes yard on a high fastball that didn't go anywhere near its intended target. Ozzy Albies cranks a low slider deep, and the reality of the situation begins to set in for me. While Mr. Mako is playing a mere mortal, I think his invite to the Immortal League was left in the mail, so he decided to make me his punching bag for the night. A total of 3 more runs are slapped across my face, including what is either an embarrassing showcase of infield play or some masterful base running. Either way, you. It doesn't get better from here, folks. My bats are absolutely shaken by this point, and I fail to reach base over the next couple innings. Meanwhile, he drives one more run in effortlessly on this double off the wall from Ozzy that he could have hit over the wall, I think, if he wanted. We do stack a few more hits and close calls afterwards, but it's clear where this is headed. The game doesn't make it out of the 5th inning, folks. Home runs, doubles, triples, it's charity here, and we all know I am a charitable man. Good for Mr. Mako. This game felt like the equivalent of letting your nephew score a few times to make him feel good before beating him so violently and sure-handedly that you get uninvited from Thanksgiving dinner that year. That is not a tale of experience. I'm just saying that's what it felt like. I promise. I love my nephews. Let's try and put that behind me where my red ass is from being thoroughly spanked and mercied 14-4. After that, I kept playing. I felt good, even despite getting my shit thoroughly rockabye babied. Game 6 saw some hot first inning bats put me out to a 3-0 lead where my opponent quit for another freebie, not even allowing me to throw a pitch. Game 7 was much of the same. Pitcher Jake Bennett was completely one-note, tossing low breaking balls and the occasional sinker stinker, giving me the chance to slam the PCI South for the winner to great success. Everybody knows guys named Jake ain't worth shit. Jordan and Miguel were able to find the corners early, but apparently burning it down with this wild Jimmy freaking Rollins triple was a bridge too far, and my opponent took that short leap off of it for another free win. Boy, if I knew there were so many quitters in the Weekend Classic, I would have tried sooner. Maybe those two should have watched my previous game where a 4-0 lead in the first inning winded up being less valuable than the opinion of a BBWAA Hall of Fame voter, and they would have stuck around. Our final game was a good one, a pitching matchup that pit my 6'8" unit of units against the baby goat Chase Burns. And an entire lineup of spotlight cards, including this brand new Mickey Moniak card. Well, brand new at the time. I'm writing the script right now. I don't know when this video is going to come out. Maybe it'll be old news by the time it is. Either way, I love this color blue. May Spotlight send me a Kazuma Akamoto card, please, and thank you. Yerk! 2 early outs from Chase put me in a tough spot, but old Jackie threw it back to 1947 with this rocket into left field for a solo homer. Good base running from the ops as well as that sneaky new cover star Bobby Witt card reaches first and beats even the best Paul Blart on the steal attempt. He'd eventually land on third from a Matt Olson single before this sucker pitch from Randy Johnson leads to probably the best play in the field I had all day. Michael Garcia continues to prove he's more than a pretty face and a pretty foil with a great defensive play. Farrell kicking dirt on the man who stole his second base and keeping the lead at 1-0. A fun pitching back and forth ensued in the next 2 innings for both teams before more pressure was applied in the third. Press Control F and find his name appearing in this document more times than John Cena was holding World Championship gold. Who can? The Grandy Man can, an ambassador of the sport and an ambassador of this cool Yellow Jackets banner, showing it off to the fans at home with a 467-footer. Big Randy continues to count to 3 in short order, saving his arm for the later stages of the game. After Jimmy Rollins grabs first on a single, thievery abound! A trip to second against the wishes of whatever slack-jawed yokel schmuck tries to gun him out. Stealing here eventually leads to a third run when Rick Farrell sends him home. Chase Burns gets a little too froggy, leaving breaking balls inside the zone, and who better to make him pay than Captain Jasmine low-calorie, high-satiety rice ball Benny Bomber, who tells Rick Farrell to take his old ass home and wait for him. A 2-run shot from Ben Rice makes it 5-0. Randy Johnson finally shows some human error in the bottom of the fourth, though, as my confidence becomes overconfidence, leading to Matt Olson getting on with another single and sending one of my least favorite players of all time to the plate. 3-time MVP, 9-time Silver Slugger, and all-time goober Mike Trout sees the opportunity to shut my mouth and tries to go for it. I'm told one of his nicknames includes God's gift, in which case I hope God included a gift receipt. Likely expecting my shit talk, this Mike Trout sends a 2-run shot deep to rub it in my face and likely lead his team in prayer in the dugout afterwards. For the record, I'm sure real Mike is a lovely guy, but this is card Mike Trout, so I'm much more comfortable saying he can eat the fattest part of my ass. Thankfully, Trout's heaven-sent dinger-donger goner was the first and last opening for the Yellow Jackets, as Randy would play strong enough down the stretch for my opponent to request a friendly quit. I promptly tell him to tell his story walking and decline, so another victory was sent my way. And there my void is where I stopped for the time being. 5-3, second on the leaderboard at the time, and a sure ticket to the next division where I'm definitely going to get my shit rocked on a much more profound level. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how things played out in this venture into the great beyond of online ranked play. My biggest regret is that I didn't really get anything from it other than some experience, given that I had already completed both the XP and multiplayer program paths. Thankfully, as of press time, both of those are updated, and I'm sure to spend some more time getting dragged in the next weekend classic. Thanks for listening to my garbled mouth vomit for as long as you did, dear viewer. You deserve a Nobel Peace Prize for that. I will pray to Mike Trout's God, and whichever one you pick, that your life is filled with nothing but happiness, health, and a bonus fry in your next bag of Wendy's. Thanks for watching. I am Speaker Guy Yake, and I have digestive problems. See you next time.